quiet seaside town, an evil laid to rest centuries ago, has risen. An abandoned fortress deep in the swamp holds a secret that could save the village or destroy it. Now, a band of adventurers sets out to dig up the wounds of the past and bring the light of day to the roots of ruin. This is Tabletop Gold.
Hello, friends, and welcome to episode 70 of The Roots of Ruin, a Tabletop Gold production of the Abomination Vault's Adventure Path, published by Paizo Publishing, Book 1, The Ruins of Gauntlet, James Jacobs. My name's Lars Casteen.
You did it.
Bunch of proper nouns.
And it sounded so professional, right?
It did.
Like when you hear a broadcaster reading prompter.
Just like when I'm listening to NPR.
People may wonder if you actually pre-recorded that and just dropped it in.
It was like you copy-pasted.
Yeah, it was a copy-paste. I'm gonna come clean with y'all. I'm like I said my name already. Let's meet everybody else. Matt Humphreys is here.
Hi. Welcome to This Absalomian Life.
Ah, the Ira Glass of actual play podcasts. Zoe Chernicoff is here.
Hello!
David the Tin Man Chernicoff is here.
Yes, hello, good, that
All
time.
you tin maniacs. He's here. He came. He's here on this one. I know he hasn't been here for a while, but he's back, baby.
I've always wanted a special term of art just for people who like me, so I finally have one.
Tin Maniacs, that's good.
Yeah.
It's good. And Robin Lange is here.
Good hat time.
Good hat time. Thank you. Good hat time to all of you. We are recording this episode in the past, as we always do. This episode's going to be coming out on October 17th. That's fall country, right in that time.
It's fall, y'all. I hate that phrase.
Wait, do people say that? Is that a thing people say? It's
It
fall,
is.
y'all?
Like, I think last year, John Oliver did a whole mashup on Last Week Tonight of like local news people introducing fall on the first day of fall, going, it's fall, y'all. And
Okay,
I wanted to burn something.
Well, let's aim a little bit higher than that. Let's not fall into the trap that all those local news broadcasters fell into. But Zoe,
Yes.
you have strong feelings, about fall, specifically the spices.
The spice.
we're-
The one spice. The fall spice.
The one spice to rule them all.
Yeah.
I have a 23% inkling that we had this exact conversation maybe exactly 1 year ago today.
Well, that's sort of the thing with pumpkin spice, is that like every year you're sort of like, we're back here again. So if we did, we're another year
Welcome back.
older. And in a way, isn't it like 10 years? Aren't 20 years at least a decade apiece?
Yeah.
Hasn't it been 10 years since a year ago?
Both time and pumpkin spice sneak up on you.
It's like one of those rings on a tree that's extra thick, and you just go, "Oh, something happened there."
Oh, yeah.
Just the whole decade. Oh, that was the 2020s.
So I am not actually anti all pumpkin spice. I just feel like it's gotten somewhere, like maybe it was just being at the pandemic and like going to Trader Joe's was the most exciting thing happening to me. But it jumped the shark at a certain point, right? Like you can now get tortilla chips with pumpkin spice on them. We don't need that.
We
don't
can
need that.
dip in your pumpkin spice hummus.
Yes, hummus, like pasta sauce, I feel like.
What? Wait, is this a thing that you say is happening or that you don't? Are people putting pumpkin spice in pasta sauces now?
It's like pre-made at Trader Joe's. It's not you put it in. It's like you buy it.
Yeah.
You buy your fall pasta sauce with pumpkin spice.
A regular old pumpkin pasta sauce actually is kind of nice, like pumpkin gnocchi, stuff like that. But then you got to add all the pumpkin spices.
All right, so this is interesting because it seems to me from this conversation, it's fairly clear that every person has a threshold.
Sure. It's a spectrum. It's
but
not
that
a
we
binary.
fall at different points on that spectrum. So for some folks, pumpkin gnocchi might be over the line, and for some it might be just on this side of the line, right? So now I feel like I want, and I don't know if we're going to be able to do this out loud in real time, but what I want to do is array.
Let's challenge ourselves.
I want to array all the various pumpkin products on a spectrum from most sure to most, come on.
Oh,
and
I'm on this.
Try to figure out.
Let me pull up a list of pumpkin spice products. Hold on.
Here's how we do it. We find, Robin's got this list of items. We're going to go around in the order that I introduced everybody, which is going to be Armet, Zoe, David, Robin, me. And you have to say for each one of these, are you pumpkin or pumpkout?
Oh, pumpkout.
I love this.
Yeah, we got here. We got there. All right.
We're just waiting on Robin to find the definitive list of pumpkin spice products.
Guys, I did find a BuzzFeed quiz that says which pumpkin spice product are you that I think we should maybe
let's take that at
consider
the
as
end.
well.
After you answer, you have to go take that, and then we'll do a quick circle back at the end where we each read off our.
Okay, I'm gonna let you know we do eventually have to play this role playing game, so we may not have time for absolutely
this
every
is now
part
a
of
pumpkin
this.
spice
Disagree.
show.
This is now
That's
the pumpkin spice podcast. Yeah, totally.
The PF in PF2A actually stands for pumpkin spice.
Yeah.
So this is, I'm going to try and pick out, this is a big old list. I'm going to try and pick out some of the most interesting ones, I think.
All right.
Okay. Good.
So the goldfish crackers.
This is pumpkin spice.
Pumpkin spice
goldfish
grams.
Oh, grams, though.
It is grams.
We're going to go in that order now. And you say one word, pumpkin or pumpkout?
I'm pumpkin.
No, the order. The order.
Which is the order?
Armet, Zoe, David, Robin, Lars.
Sorry.
Okay. I'm pumpkin. Yeah.
Pumpkin.
'Cause it's the gram designation
Agreed.
that
Cheddar
that
wouldn't do
brings
it.
it over the line for me.
Gram is cool.
Yeah.
David?
I thought it was Robin.
No.
David, Robin, Lars.
All right. That's pumpkout for me.
Oh.
Okay.
Pumpkin, because it's the
Pumpkin.
gram thing, yeah. Okay.
Graham, agreed.
Greek yogurt pumpkin spice. So pumpkin spice flavored Greek yogurt.
Okay, Armet.
This is kind of the test.
Right. Now we are playing the game.
Shit just got real is what I'm trying to say. Like,
you thought this was going to be a pumpkin spice cakewalk? Well, it is not, my friend.
I'm pumped out. I can't do it. I think the pumpkin spice Greek yogurt, for some reason the creaminess of it it doesn't match for me. I need a citrus in my Greek yogurt.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I'm pumpkin on the Greek yogurt.
Oh my goodness.
There's usually too much nutmeg is one thing, but that's a separate problem. Sometimes the blend isn't right, but that's not, we're not getting into that.
That's not the yogurt's fault.
No. All right, David?
I'm pumpkout on the yogurt.
I think I'm pumpkout.
I'm pumpkout. So Zoe's the only one who's pumpkin on the Greek yogurt.
So far we have one data point suggesting that Zoe is the furthest toward the...
Yeah. I do seem to be trending that way.
But we don't know that this is a one-dimensional spectrum. This could be like a little more of a scatter field.
Pumpkin spice flavored Thomas's English muffins.
Armet, pumpkin or pumpkout?
I'm pumpkout.
I'm pumpkout on that.
I feel like the English muffin is perfect as is.
Agreed.
I don't need
That's a savory, not a sweet.
Spice.
Armet coming down strongly in favor of English cuisine over Greek cuisine. Interesting.
Well, my grandmother was English, so there you go.
Yeah, and the Greeks need to figure this yogurt thing out too.
David?
Come on, guys.
I'm pumpkout, but this is breaking my brain because so far this is the one I most considered being pumpkin on, but meanwhile everybody else is. So there's definitely lurking variables here. I mean, one lurking variable is that I don't like pumpkin spice, so it may be that I just don't want any of these things in my pantry. But that's not the only lurking variable. There's a lot going on here.
I'm pumpkin on this actually, because I feel like this with some butter on it could be really nice.
I'm pumpkin also. A nice breakfast pumpkin treat. I'm into. You could put like an apple butter on this potentially, and make for a sweet breakfast treat.
Love me some apple butter. Okay.
Let's do two more.
Two more. Pumpkin spice flavored Jell-O. Okay, this is Jell-O pudding, actually, just to be more specific.
Pudding
This
is different.
Jell-O
Pudding is different.
It's Jell-O pudding.
Let it be known.
Not
Pudding is
Jell-O,
different.
Jell-O.
That was maybe even more important than the gram at the end of the goldfish one.
That was the thing.
Totally.
I was staring at the box and I couldn't quite figure it out. And then I finally realized the shape of it. I'm like, oh, this is pudding. Okay. Jell-O brand pudding.
Yeah. I'm pumpkin. Yeah, that sounds delicious and like
Agreed.
the kind of dessert treat I would enjoy. I'm actually surprised at how pumped out I've been because I normally have a sweet tooth, I have to say.
I'm pumpkin on pumpkin spice pudding.
Yeah, Pumpkout. I don't think I like this flavor.
The more we talk about it, the better David gets. David rages. Yeah, I guess I'm pumpkin on this, actually.
You'd really have to catch me at the right time. I just don't want to eat a lot of pudding these days.
I mean, yeah, I'm not a big pudding person in general. I agree, but I would certainly try it.
I think something's happened here, which is that at first I was thinking of this as before we started, I was thinking of this as an exercise of like, how okay am I with it that this product exists? But then when we started talking about them, I started thinking about whether or not I would actually want to eat them. And what I've realized is that I don't want to eat any of them, but some of them I'm fine with them existing.
Do you even like pumpkin pie?
No, but some of them, but some of them I'm okay with them existing in a way that I'm not okay with others existing.
We should have come up with a two-part answer.
It's a 2x2. That's what I'm.
We should have done a 2x2.
Because I'm going to be at the bottom of the quadrant no matter what. Yeah. I'm just thinking about like, is this all right? Is this an intuitive use of pumpkin spice, or is this just so wildly out of step that I not only do I not want it, I think it shouldn't exist.
I got one more though.
We got one more.
I got
the
one
final
more,
pumpkin,
which is, I hate to ask it, pumpkin spice flavored hummus. I mentioned it before. I need to know everyone's opinions on it.
Armat, hummus.
I'm pumped out, man. I cannot see myself eating this, and I borderline don't think it should exist. I mean, hey, if it just on David's quadrant, this might be a use of pumpkin spice I'm not sure I'm okay with. That said, if it's your thing, enjoy, love it. I support you.
We're not spice shaming over here.
No.
100%.
I think I'm pumped out, which is causing me to realize that for me, this is like, is it inherently a sweet food or is it inherently a savory food?
Yeah.
And if it's sweet, I'm in. If it's savory, I'm out.
That's right. The thing, for me, the prototypical why does this exist is the pumpkin spice potato chips, which is just like, wow, this is a flail. This is a wild flail. But anyway, I'm pumped out on the whatever it was we were talking about. On the
hummus?
On the hummus.
Okay.
And
you're mad it exists?
I'm a little mad at I'm fine with anyone who likes it. Enjoy. I'm a little mad it exists. And in terms of my own consumption, to quote the great Jon Snow, I don't want it. The immortal Jon Snow, as it were.
Yeah.
I'm pumped out because I think I agree. Like to me, hummus is a savory food. I don't like any sweet hummus. Chocolate hummus also makes me mad.
Yeah, I don't want this shit. I'm pumped out. That sounds terrible. Are you kidding me?
I don't care that it's supposed to taste like pumpkin pie. If I want pumpkin pie, I'll have some pumpkin pie.
Yeah.
Or some Jell-O fucking pumpkin spice pudding, which is probably pretty
sounds
close.
good.
Yeah. If I were in a pudding mode, I would want it. You know what? I think next time we should return for the which pumpkin spice treat are you, and we can all take the test in real time on the microphone.
I'm excited for that one.
and reveal our exciting answers.
Mine's
the
good.
Audience.
So get excited, everyone. Come back for episode 71, because I'm telling you right now, I've taken it and it's good.
You won't believe.
What kind of pumpkin spice?
The actual play RPG community is just on the edge of their seat.
Yeah.
I can't wait to find out which pumpkin spice thing they are. Oh my god. Well, before we do that, let's issue a hearty friend of Hoot thank you to everybody who has left a review of Tabletop Gold at their podcast app of choice, like this review on Apple Podcasts from Lilac. 10 out of 10 made me throw my phone into the ocean and get an iPhone. Would recommend.
I don't know how I feel about raising more money for Nordy. Very well-off company, but sure, why not?
Well, sadly, they're all big companies,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Them, Alphabet, doesn't really matter.
Not a lot of bespoke smartphones coming off the artisanal
Handcrafted.
workbench.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on. Let's play the game. Nearly 2 weeks ago, the eerie blue light emanating from the ancient lighthouse Gauntlet sharpened laser-like upon the nearby town of Otari's graveyard. First, the dead rose. Then, its powerful magic transported a gigantic crab-like creature known as a Scalathrax right in front of you. And now, oddly enough, you've stepped into a natural cavern hundreds of feet below the earth, containing 2 more of those gigantic crabs, as well as the stripped bones of countless creatures. But whatever questions you may have about the connection between these 2 events will have to wait, because the 2 Scalathraxes in front of you are currently emitting an ear-piercing screech and rushing to attack you. This is episode 70, everybody. That means that we've got new hero point cards. Everybody is reset to 1 hero point. If you were listening last week to episode 69, and why would you have skipped that one? You know that David got a success on an end-of-session recall knowledge check. In that episode, I told everybody that these are Scalathraxes and ended the episode because, frankly, I had momentum and I wanted to have a cool ending. But David's successful recall knowledge does mean that he can gather some information about these creatures, so I want to get a sense of what it is that Mag is interested in recalling about these creatures, whether it's like weaknesses, resistances, lowest saves, special abilities, anything like that.
I think Mag would be most interested in ways that they might be particularly threatening, ways that they might try and attack, whether that's tactics or maneuvers or special, poisons, whatever it might be, that kind of thing.
Sure. So what you know about these creatures is that these dwell in remote caves underground. I think that you probably have some exposure to them in the swamps because of the caves around this area. The main thing that they're able to do that Mag is frightened of, potentially, is that they can spray a toxic oil in like a cone. There's like a gland on their neck.
Sorry, crab oil?
It's toxic crab oil that we're talking about here.
That's gross.
I was focusing on gland in their neck.
Yeah, well, it's all gross, guys. Let's not compete about which one of these disgusting things I'm telling you is grosser.
Aklo is actually the Aklo word for gross.
Yes. Right.
They speak gross.
It'll essentially blast this spray in a cone and make you weak to fire and take lots of poison damage.
Okay.
Good to know.
You don't see a lot of fire in the room, though, so that element of it is not the most frightening to you.
Not so far. And that's it for my recall knowledge, right? I don't get to keep browsing the menu. Cool.
Norman panics and lights everything on fire.
Oh,
no.
Dang.
Shit.
You could make more recall knowledge checks in the future, though. So I'm going to say because of that, because Mag was searching her knowledge of the swamps while she was entering the room, you can roll swamp lore if you'd like to. But rather than me explaining things out of order, let's just say that it's time for you to roll for initiative.
Yeah. Roll for initiative.
How did everybody roll on their initiative? Let's start with Armat.
Vadim did not do so great. He got a 5 on the die for a 15. So I guess maybe he's thinking of many happy seafood meals of the past, I guess, in Caliphos. Or
Too bad. Zoe, how is Norman doing?
22. He thought about leaving. He stayed. He did okay.
And that's pretty quick. David, how did Mag do? with her Swamp Lore. Did you roll Swamp Lore?
I rolled Swamp Lore just to kind of mix things up. My Swamp Lore is one lower than my Perception. So that's a 23 for me instead of a 24.
Okay, and how did Trill do, Robin?
I think Trill was grossed out when Mag muttered something about... What was the word you used, Lars? Neck?
Neck gland.
Neck glands?
Crab
crab
juice.
neck glands, crab juice. I think Trill got a little distracted. So Trill only ended up rolling a 19, which is pretty low for Trill. So, adding together, getting a 19.
I've got bad news. As we start off this encounter at the top of round 1, these Scalathraxes at the far end of this cavern are going to go first. The 4 of you are standing in a line at the entrance to this cavern.
No.
There's a narrow passageway entering this chamber that has these skulls, femurs, splintered wood, just a gross room that these 2 creatures are in right now. And that narrow hallway opens up into a 30-foot wide and 15-foot tall chamber. These 2 Scalathraxes are on the far end of the room. Mag's light from her Wayfinder has just picked up the glistening mandibles and glowing red eyes of these 2 creatures as the first of them starts sprinting towards Mag, screeching all the while. As it approaches Mag and it gets right in Mag's face, those jaws clamp down on Mag's shoulder as it just tries to swallow her whole. And that's a 21 to hit.
Mag's armor class is 22, so that is not quite going to do it. So I think maybe those jaws clang off the shoulder of her armor and don't manage to connect.
And the Scalathrax screeches and backs up a few feet, confused at the fact that it wasn't able to bite into Mag. The Scalathrax at the far end of the room, this enormous 6-legged crab, gallops about 10 feet forward into the light of Mag's Wayfinder and plants its 2 front legs in the ground, nestled between a couple of these skulls. And then it just blasts these sharp quills out of its leg towards Mag from across the room. And that is a 29 to hit.
29 does hit. So one of those quills will find its way into a weak point in the armor on Mag's leg.
For terrible damage, that clangs against the armor, hurting Mag slightly for 8 points of damage.
Huh.
And the quills blast off of another leg straight at Mag. Great roll. 18 on the die, a 26 to hit.
Yeah, that also will hit.
For 10 more points of damage. So Mag just sees these 2 like galloping horse-sized crabs run halfway into the room and just start pelting with its quills. And with that, it's now Mag's turn.
Mag is at first pushed back a little bit by these 2 quill strikes, but she gathers herself, moves forward until she's standing right in front of one of them. No, she's going to move all the way around and behind them both so that she's on their opposite side. And then with her second and third actions, she will make a swipe because these 2 creatures are at last adjacent to one another in her melee range. So I get to use my new toy.
You get to use your new toy, and it doesn't even require you to be raging.
No, it does not.
Awesome. So you're going to roll 1 attack roll, and we're going to compare it to both armor classes. They're the same armor class. It's the same creature. So if you hit 1, you're going to hit both of them.
All right. So that is going to be a 27 to hit.
27 hits. Mag feels her blade chunk into one and then chunk into the next one as bits of crab carapace go flying up into the air and fall among the other bones in the room.
Yeah, there's crab cakes down there too. That's going to be 12 damage. Kind of a bummer of a damage roll there.
Still not too bad. A sizable chunk taken out of both crabs as Norman's turn comes up.
So Norman he doesn't have sneak attack on them because he's going after them. So he wants to try and gain an advantage on them, but is none too eager to run up and make them flat-footed that way. So he is going to try and create a distraction on, I guess, the northernmost one. Or can he now distract too?
You pick the creatures that you're trying to divert the attention of and test it against them. So if you want to just do one, you can just do one.
Oh, I'll do both why not? But I don't know. It won't make a difference. Or do they both roll then? Like, do I get a better...
If you attempt to create a diversion...
Oh, right. Then they're immune.
A second time, they get a bonus.
Right.
They're not immune. It's just harder to do.
Sure. We'll just do the north one because I'm only going to be able to hit one anyways, if I can even do that. So in Aklo, which I think, Norman is always keen to show off, and I guess did Mag convey that they spoke Aklo? We wouldn't know.
Mag knows that for somehow these creatures speak Undercommon.
Oh.
Huh.
Oh. I majored in Undercommon at Bard.
Wait, you think Trill would know it then?
Oh, my God. I stumbled somehow into
the Bard pun.
I mean, all the Bard colleges, come on.
So Norman sort of whispers at just a volume that it's going to reach their little recessed crabby ears, however that works with crabs. Nang, nang, bonabo, nang, nang, bonabo, which of course means your glands are clogged and useless against us, in an effort to sort of get them looking around to see what's up.
Give me that deception check, please.
That is a very good deception check. That's a 32.
Sure it is.
Thanks, Frome.
Actually, he can't help here, or I couldn't do a spell if he helped.
So you hear this crab go, nang, nang, and whip around and look in the other direction.
And with that, Norman casts biting words at the crab using more Undercommon.
Using that spell slot right off the bat. I love it.
I don't know. I feel like we're in a speaky place. We're going fun.
Do
Sure.
our listeners need to remove children from the room?
Well, no, it's in Undercommon, so
Oh, good.
I can get as crude as I want. Also, it's Norman.
As long as the children don't speak Undercommon, we should be fine.
So it's nang nang bonabo, nang nang bonabo, which is a bunch of pretty gross things about what's
Good
happening to their
Lord.
glands and what might or might not invade them.
So you distract them and then hit them with magical insults.
Well, the whispers are like floating around, right? Like
Yeah.
I like to think the sound is just sort of... and that is a terrible roll, which is a 13. Which I feel like Norman is so keen to get this off, he's going to hero point it. He clears his throat. He realizes the whispers weren't quite getting through. And that's a 15.
Oh, man.
Oh, no luck.
Oh, that 15. Zoe, I'm so sorry. That 15 is not going to hit.
Interesting. Okay. You're sure?
Yeah,
Okay.
I am.
Just checking.
Wait, actually, no, I'm not sure. I was looking at the wrong stat block. Yes, now I'm sure. I was
Okay.
looking at your stat block. That would not have hit you.
No.
No. So as these obscenities ricochet around the cavern, it is now Trill's turn.
I'm trying to remember when Mag did that whole massive lore check. Did we find out about their saves?
No.
If you're interested in knowing more about these creatures, though, you can make an occultism check.
I could, or I could just guess.
Sure.
The Trill story.
Right. One of those things is Trill guessing, and the other is Robin guessing.
Well, yes. I'm trying to make an educated guess onto which is higher, their will or their fortitude, essentially.
I think we can all make an educated guess about that.
Yeah.
I'm going to assume... Yeah, so Trill is... There's a second passage to the north, and Trill's going to move towards the entrance of that, just that she's got a better line of sight.
Yeah, as Trill steps into this cavern, she sees that there's a tunnel heading off to the north, and she steps in that direction.
And then she's going to dig into her bag of tricks. And by bag of tricks, I mean the wonderful first-level spells that she has. And Trill's going to try out Phantom Pain. It says that one requires the will save. And I have a feeling they have a lower will than Fortitude. So Trill's going to cast Phantom Pain on the one that's closer.
It screams, "Nang! Nang!" as this mental anguish afflicts it.
Fantastic.
I'm going to need to make a will save, it seems like.
Yes.
Nang! Nang! And it fails with a 20.
Oh, against a 21. So with that failure, the target takes full initial and persistent damage, and the target is sickened 1. So the damage is 4.
4 points of damage as its brain starts melting. It's going to take ongoing persistent damage of a d4, and like you said, it's sickened, so it's like, "Nang! Nang!" And it just starts like spraying crab juice on the floor in front of it.
It's almost like it should have paid more attention to the things Norman was telling it were happening to its glands.
Yeah.
Maybe they were a warning.
And also, like to point out, Trill is so excited to feel refreshed with her spells and have all of her spell slots back that honestly it wasn't until this moment that's like, oh wait, that attack should have been a different roll, right? Because I usually start with Inspire Courage and I didn't do that.
Whatever. Who needs it?
I started with a movement, so I don't have another action.
Yep.
Sorry, y'all.
That's all right.
Oh, no worries.
Next round.
I probably should have delayed. I don't know. There's a lot of
It was
going on.
really,
Mistakes have been made.
yeah, that one might have triggered me to remember, but it was also just really fun for Trill to cast a spell like that and have it actually hit and do something. And now this mofo is sickened, and that's real fun.
I'm going to use my whole next turn recalling knowledge. I'm not super worried about these guys.
I feel like we've insulted them properly, and so it's been a good fight for me.
Yeah.
It's now Vadim's turn.
Vadim is going to stride forward so that it's flanking one of the Scalathraxes with Mag, and he's going to do that thing he do. He's going to double slice that crab. So that is a 33 to hit with Vigilance and a 22 to hit with the Dagger of Venom.
Okay, those are both hits, but that 33 is a critical hit.
Woo!
Meaning that the critical specialization effect of Vigilance is going to take effect, and you knock the crab, the Scalathrax, flat-footed. I would say this is a very different encounter than we saw last time, but it's a different encounter in that it's you guys doing the damage to this
we don't
crab
have Mark.
instead of Mark.
Yeah.
I'll have Mark.
So that is critical damage, 24 with Vigilance and 10 with the Dagger of Venom. So that is a total of 34 damage.
That's great.
So you slice through the exposed soft tissue on the interior of this crab's mouth and just take it nearly all the way down. Massive, massive hit from Vadim.
Lars, am I correct in understanding that I've hit its weak point for massive damage?
Yes, you've hit the gigantic.
Remember that meme?
The giant enemy crab's weak point for massive damage.
Woo!
Yes, you have.
Excellent. Thank you.
For those of you who remember the Sony presentation at E3 in 2006 for the Tale of
So
Genji
precise.
demonstration.
Good job.
Wow.
You
My
nailed
body
that
is
down,
ready.
buddy. Wow, I am impressed.
Anyway, I'm a loser. Here we go, round 2. And the situation has changed radically. These screeching crabs are still screeching, but they're currently in the middle of this chamber with Mag and Vadim flanking this badly injured, heavily insulted, sickened, brain damaged. What else is happening? This guy knocked off of its feet by Vadim. It's bad, is what I'm trying to say. And then Trill and Norman are set up in the distance near these 2 tunnels leading out of the room. It's now the turn of the Scalathrax, who is not the one who's having a very bad day.
Very bad, terrible, no good day.
One
That's
whose
right.
glands
This is
have not yet exploded all over.
Right. This is the still intact glanded Scalathrax. It's going to scuttle through the bones and dust in this room. And I'm trying so hard to set up a cone that hits everybody, and I just can't do it.
Well, I'm happy to stay out. Yeah, it's fine. I can stay out. Don't worry about it.
Okay, I think this Scalathrax sees that the one, its friend, is basically done. So it runs over to the side of Vadim, opens its glands, and just goes and blasts a cone of toxic oil out into the room, including the other Scalathrax, Vadim, and Mag in the area. I need Vadim, Mag, and the Alexander the Scalathrax to make a reflex save.
Someone's
Alexander
been reading kids'
T.
book.
Scalathrax.
Okay. The DC was a 20. Did anybody get lower than that?
No, it's 27 for Mag.
29 for Vadim.
Okay, so not a critical success for either of you. So Vadim and Mag both get sprayed for 1d8 points of poison damage. That's a 1 on the die. So you get singed slightly by this grotesque Scalathrax juice. The other Scalathrax got a critical success on his save and is looking pretty good right about now, other than the fact that all the things I described that were horrible. So this Scalathrax is going next. They're sickened, they're flat-footed, and they have ongoing persistent mental damage. I think the only thing they can think to do is hiss at the fact that they just got blasted with acid by their other friend and scuttle up to the northern side of the room to start flanking with Vadim. And then these jaws open up and clamp down on Vadim as he is distracted by the other crab creature. That is a 17 to hit.
That will not hit.
And it tries it again. That time it's a 19 to hit.
That will also not hit.
And it is just too sickened and too stupid to do anything good. And I'm getting really frustrated. At the end of its turn, it's going to take 1d4 mental damage. That is 2 mental damage as it continues hissing.
I like that. I feel like it failed. So it's, it's bearing the repercussions.
Trill's music is driving it insane.
Yes. And as that crab... Oh, no. No, that's way more than 1d4 mental damage. What are you doing? And as that crab scuttles to the northern side of the room and impotently bites at Vadim twice, it is now Mag's turn.
Impotently bite.
I know the feeling.
Phrased.
Yeah, we all do. Okay.
What?
All right. First action. I'm just thinking about I could have no escaped it. Vadim could have glimpsed the damage. It's like I'm just, everything's all. What are reactions in this game anyway? All right, first action.
It has been 4 episodes since we really had a serious encounter, and I feel like we're still getting our combat legs back from back underneath us.
It's a very generous and I think very accurate,
very
astute observation.
I'm like, what are my spells? I don't remember these.
Yeah, I'm thinking about Mag's
I've fired
dreams.
off my one spell immediately for nothing. It's fine. We're just shooting from the hip.
I'll start by whamming the very, very weak and nearly dead one that's chilling out at the north wall of the cave. It's a 29.
Nearly a critical hit, but not quite.
Yeah. All right, well, I'll give you regular damage. That is another slightly damage roll. It's a 9 damage.
And that cracks through the carapace of this crab, sending shrapnel of crab shells all over the room as this Scalathrax is blasted apart, its abdomen exposed in a truly repulsive way.
So Mag sidesteps Vadim and then kind of curls around and ends up in this small little alcove part of the cave to the southeastern edge.
And as you do that, the smell of this seawater and this sickening gel that's covering the carapace of this thing, it's just filling your nose and is very unpleasant.
And then I will make a second strike, this time on the remaining Scalathrax. And that is Ooh, only a 16 to hit.
And that's going to miss. Clang against the shell of this Scalathrax.
All right, and that's my turn.
And clang fills the room, and Norman sees that the crab that was affected by his magic is now dead. What is Norman going to do?
Goes, yes, I got it. And then I guess I know I can re-up biting words, but because that one is dead, I can't do it to the other one.
Right, the spell, I'm looking up the spell right now. You can attack with your words once and you finish casting the spell, and you can repeat the attack once. Yeah, you can target new. You can absolutely, it's reverberating around the room. You can attack the other Scalathrax, no problem. Right now, you don't really have line of sight on it, though.
That is true. That's a great point. So Norman comes out just to the mouth of the cave so he can get, he tiptoes up. Nang, nang, bonabo, nang, 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 bonabo, which is, of course, your friend's miserable little glands shriveled like raisins at my words. And now yours, too, will perish. You little fucking son of a... No. That part. There actually is no swearing in Undercommon. It's weird.
It's true. They're very polite underground.
A little bit better that time, 23.
It's really all about the tone in Undercommon, not the word itself.
That's right.
Yeah.
Tone and inflection go a long way. That 23 absolutely will hit.
That's good. I'm glad that the one spell slot for the day has done something, and that is a total of 5 damage.
5 points of damage as these words offend this crab, and it screeches, "Ah!" And you got one more action.
And Norman pulls out chompers and gets ready to fire off a bow if he needs to.
And as the bow enters Norman's hand, it is now Trill's turn.
So Trill is, I guess, going to, just to make sure everyone's getting up there, Trill will go ahead and remember, right, I gotta help everyone out. And Trill's going to Lingering Comp and to Inspire Courage. Although, honestly, maybe I don't even need to bother with a Lingering Comp. I don't need to bother with that focus spell. I think Trill's just going to Inspire Courage, because I don't think we need a whole nother round done. I think I'll save that focus spell slot.
Oh, the arrogance. This is when the Scalathrax starts mounting its epic comeback. People will start wanting Scalathrax t-shirts to remember that time that Scalathrax TPK'd the entire group.
Yeah.
To remember this moment, yes.
Honestly, I'm here for it.
Yeah.
So everyone now has one round of Inspire Courage. And on the guy
I'm doing
who's
great, Norman
still
says
alive.
to himself.
Yeah, everyone's doing great. Trill's going to save a spell slot and head back to use Daze. Daze helped out earlier with the wolf. Trill's going to try it on this animal-like thing again now.
So that means that the Scalathrax needs to make a will save as your psychedelic music blasts it.
Yeah. That llama's going to surely whip the llama's ass.
That's a 15, which is going to fail your DC 21
Yes, it does.
spellcasting deal. So that's damage, but not stunned.
And that's going to be 11 damage.
Maximum damage, not too bad. So you start to enchant the Scalathrax's mind. I'm so excited by the fact that you have two strategies for dealing with these creatures. One is to just beat them, and the other is to emotionally abuse them.
And we're using both,
Yeah.
right? It's a real yin and yang.
Trill's been kind of emotionally abused by her exes, so it only makes sense that she would now emotionally abuse others. That's what the cycle of abuse is all about.
Hurt people. Yeah.
Hurt crabs. Okay.
Zoe's not here for this. Zoe's not here for that storyline.
That's just, it feels really tragic.
Yeah. Well, we shouldn't explore it. It's now Vadim's turn.
Vadim is just going to give Vigilance a flick, get some of that crab dip off of it, and go for a double slice like he do. And so he just launches into a scissoring slash at the Scalathrax's legs. 33 and 27.
Same story as last turn. A critical hit from Vigilance and a regular hit from the Dagger of Venom.
Cool. That is a 28 for Vigilance And
beautiful
10
weapon.
for the dagger of
Truly
venom.
is.
And vigilance breaks. You don't get to use it anymore. It's out of the game now.
No!
Sorry.
We worked
It's
so
weird.
hard on the storyline.
Yeah. Yep. Too bad. No, just kidding. What happens instead of vigilance breaking is the Scalathrax again gets blasted apart. Its legs fall to the ground and the rest of its body collapses onto the floor.
Did you guys see that? My words got in there and just totally effed it up. Norman's like going for high fives all around.
Vadim returns a high five. Yeah, for sure.
And with that last double slice from Vadim, you're here in this wide, long, dark, natural cavern filled with the remains of various humanoids and now the remains of these Scalathraxes.
It's also gooey in here. I don't like it.
Yes, it's not the kind of seafood I would necessarily be craving.
Do you guys have any thoughts about why these creatures, like why you're encountering these creatures here that you encountered in the graveyard?
I am sort of wondering about that. Like, why the sea creatures, especially, I mean, like Lighthouse, yes, thematic. I don't know. We haven't seen a lot of like sea related things here in Gauntlet quite yet, it feels
Guess
like.
that like water drake, but it was sort of
that's
Yeah.
true. Yeah.
But at the same time, I think the question was also thinking about that it's this particular creature, which was the one that was in the graveyard. Now, we came in to this particular tunnel because the sound that seemed to be the sound of the lighthouse was stronger through this tunnel.
Yeah, and I think that's like, I don't think that this sort of thing was what at least Mag was expecting to see. Like, in Mag's head, Lighthouse is this weapon. It was made or like associated primarily with Belcora. It seems to be getting close to going off again. So she's expecting more Nimbalathi, Belcora-y kind of like cult worship stuff rather than these creatures. Although, Robin, you're right. Like, this is the last time it fired. This is what it fired. Like, it grabbed one of these things and it threw it into town.
Yeah, it seemed to like transport it down through the beam from the lighthouse.
Yeah.
Well, and I guess there is this tunnel going up to the north, like where it seems like, you know, each floor has some version of the light, right? And on every floor that like the light is going all the way up to the lighthouse. I think we don't know because we haven't seen the whole floor, but that the like slashes where we put the various icons
The
from
artifacts.
the artifacts was that room. I mean, it was like a similar place. It was a octagonal instead of circular, but
With a round thing in the middle.
That wasn't the same room as the room that the energy from the lighthouse is going through. That was not the same beam of energy.
I don't know that we know that.
the one with the slashes.
Yeah, so that shrine to Nimbaloth is what we're talking about. The shrine where you placed the the various icons of the Rose Guard. I think that the question of whether that was the continuation from the pillar of light from the floor above it, I think that if somebody wanted to make an blind occultism check, that's something that they could think about.
Robin doesn't want to do that.
Yeah, Trill doesn't want to do that at all. Yeah, I think Trill could give that a try. Sure, why not? Okay, there it is, blind.
Trill doesn't have a great sense of whether that is the pillar of light, but she does know that there was not a pillar of light in that room.
Yeah.
It felt, there was definitely energy in there. It felt like the light. It didn't go up straight through. And I have to think about the map. I think if the map works out, and then we'd have to maybe get like a surveyor in here to try and figure out all the where exactly everything is, and get a lot of measurements. But I'm not sure because I feel like we still hear the noise, and there wasn't really anything that we could do in there.
Are we still hearing the noise, Lars? That humming?
Absolutely, you still hear this like
And what direction is it coming from? Because we've got two other tunnels we haven't gone down yet. Can we tell?
I think in this room, you can probably tell that it's coming from somewhere to the south.
Anyways, I'm telling myself some story that like one of these tunnels leads to a room either to the north, if that was like the equivalent of the light source, or maybe to the south, it sounds like from the noise, that like then beams, that there was a third crab in this holding pen that like beamed the crab out.
I think that makes sense.
We know that there's a capability elsewhere in this thing in this keep to move objects from one room to another, right? They're those sort of like magical dumbwaitery kind of things. So it stands to reason maybe something could be physically transported over a longer distance using a similar enchantment with a greater power source. So yeah, maybe, I don't know, maybe it was an intentional thing, or maybe it just a crab wandered into the wrong place and set off this reaction.
I want to clarify that these crabs are not sea creatures. These crabs are like deep subterranean underground crabs.
Like mole crabs.
It's just the way that
it's a mole crab.
Like
all
cave
animals
boy.
eventually will evolve into crabs.
Yes, exactly.
Well, maybe we should pursue this line of inquiry to the south.
Yeah. I mean, for sure that would be Mag's inclination, like follow on the assumption that the sound is associated with the lighthouse, or the likelihood of the lighthouse firing. Mag would I think still be following that sound wherever it leads.
Trill will
I
follow
think
as well.
Vadim would too, for sure.
Meanwhile, on the way down the tunnel, Norman's kind of humming to himself. They had the tiniest glands, and we clogged them. Tiniest glands, and we clogged them.
Well, before Norman's able to hit too much more of that song, Vadim, leading the way down this southern tunnel, hits a dead end. Cutting Norman's marching song off abruptly.
I guess Mag wants to look and see if there's any way to whatever.
Should Trill come up and...
Yeah. Trill should look for
Doors.
secret doors. And Mag will look for, I don't know, bashable spots on the wall.
Vadim will also search around.
Norman gets his
confused.
mage hand in there, just kind of fumbling. So occasionally you feel like a weird kind of hand grab yours as everyone else.
Oh, keep your hand to yourself.
And then he kind of giggles to himself. Grabbed him.
And what happens is Mag, looking for something to bash into, like slams her shoulder into the wall and like feels pain radiating out. Like she finds absolutely the opposite of what it is that she's looking for. Like the wall refuses to give way. And then Trill, Vadim, and Norman see a little rock that they can reach towards, push in slightly, and a secret door opens up in front of you.
Secret door.
And as this fake stone wall opens up, you find yourselves looking back into the kitchen that was adjoining the dining room where you first faced the corpse lights when you initially came here to this part of the dungeon.
This was one of the doors that we like threw shut so the corpse lights wouldn't have any fresh, any other bodies to inhabit.
Absolutely. And I believe, my memory is not perfect on this, I believe Norman came into this room to investigate.
It was Vadim, I believe.
Vadim came into this room to investigate and did not find a secret door, sadly.
Vadim.
Because
What are you
the
looking
dice matter.
They're a cruel mistress.
They're a cruel mistress. And just to catch you up again, this kitchen looks like the kitchen of an incredibly wealthy person. And when you look through the door leading off to the east back into the dining room, you see all of these cobwebs again growing all over this immaculately well-preserved, expensive-looking, if not somewhat gauche, dining room. You remember from your investigation, these skeletons are arranged as though they quickly fled from the dining room table and then were brought down by poison before they were able to escape.
Not tiny glands.
Not tiny. The glands
Glands seem fine.
Unless they were eating glands from this
Sure.
high-end chef that they were getting food from.
So much gland
Regular
talk.
sized glands.
Yeah, but you're
Sweetbreads.
essentially seeing this it's essentially like a murder scene, but you're catching up to it hundreds of years later.
Talk to me about the noise level. Has the volume gone up?
Just as high. Nope, hasn't gone up, hasn't gone down. It's just a steady.
As we walk into this room, Trill looks around, and I think Trill, apparently loves doors. Fucking loves doors. And Trill,
Noted door lover Trill.
exactly.
Says Huddle
Trill
Up.
Huddle Up loves doors.
It's actually
And
what Huddle Up means.
Yes, small door lover.
In Huddle Up.
And it immediately notices,
Did we ever look through that door to the south?
because there's this door on the southern end, and when we left this room, we had gone through rather than a door. The
Yeah, we
garbage
went down that
chute.
garbage chute. Yeah.
There's a door that we've never opened in this room that I entirely forgot about.
Huh.
Yeah, we kind of got distracted.
There was a big living garbage disposal covered in mushrooms that we had to go investigate.
Yeah. And the ghost of Otari.
This dining room has 7 open doors leading off in all kinds of different directions, and 1 closed door leading off to the south. If you were working clockwise, which I know this party has a tendency to do,
Some of us.
some of you got to the door immediately before the door that's closed, and then started exploring a garbage
Because
chute.
we went through a door in that door.
Absolutely.
We went
Look,
clockwise.
no judgments here. I'm just trying to describe the situation.
We absolutely went clockwise.
I mean, look, this is probably the most systematic and sensible exploration that we have ever done. We just didn't quite finish. It actually was when we were in this door. We went clockwise one by one. We checked stuff out. We sniffed around. And then we just kind of stopped. So now that we're back here and there's 1 door left, I think we should head back to town.
Yep.
Yep.
Time for a nap.
Go hang out with Ogriel.
All right.
All right. So Mag will follow Trill's gaze and follow Trill's lead and head down and open up that door.
Mac, is the noise louder?
Is the noise louder? Could I?
Yeah, go ahead and roll perception. Sure.
Yeah. I'm curious. What did I say? Should I give that to you blind?
Whatever this noise is, you are in close enough proximity to it that it is just everywhere, all around you, reverberating entirely around the room. Like, trying to attach some directional idea to where this noise is coming from here seems nearly impossible.
But like maybe south?
It's coming from the garbage chute. Jump down the garbage chute.
Mag will head to the door to the south edge of the room and open her up.
Norman quickly runs and gets his climbing kit.
Oh, right. It's still over there.
Oh, I forgot this.
I guess Trill's why am I forgetting the terms all of a sudden again? Investigating? No.
Sure. What skill do you want to investigate with? Investigate is like you're looking out for things that to figure out what things that you know about.
Yeah. So I guess, can I use occultism?
Sure.
Vadim will be searching for traps and just keeping his eyes out for any danger.
Same.
Mag will scout.
Okay. So Mag pushes this door open to the south and pushes through a second door into a sort of a lounge. It's a large octagonal chamber. The humming sound is incessant now in this room. The walls of this large chamber are hung with grisly paintings depicting various spectral beings cavorting among ruined neighborhoods, overgrown swamps, and foggy graveyards. 3 overstuffed chairs pair with small end tables upon which sit empty wine glasses. To the south stands a cluttered writing desk with its own chair, while a large iron tub to the west is visible between standing screens depicting shadowy marches.
Why are there so many bathtubs here?
Why are these lounges never relaxing?
You see
Who
a
is
figure
that?
from the back, sitting at that desk in the southern side of the room. It's facing away from you, hunched over at the writing desk as though it's intently reading a book. This person is wearing a fashionable red waistcoat and a beautifully tailored white linen shirt. You can hear faint murmurs coming from this figure sitting at the writing table. Yes, very interesting. As the figure's body shakes for a moment, as though it's writing a note in a journal. Can I get a perception check from all of you?
Am I using regular perception or occultism? Since I came in,
Give me
wanting to do
blind
occultism.
perception. Give me blind perception. And to all of you, you hear something strange in this person's voice. Like there's a strange sort of thrumming tone to the speech, as though there's something happening in the creature's mouth. There's some extra movement of the tongue or something like that.
A gland problem?
Doesn't seem like a gland problem. I'll have you skip the medicine check. And that's what you see. You see this person writing at this desk, sort of muttering to himself.
We can't, it's their back, right? We can't see their face at all?
It's their back.
As the party sort of stands there trying to figure out whether they're going to step forward or say something, Norman takes a quick glance at the wine glass, I guess, which would be to his right on the west side of the room. Like, can he tell if someone has been there recently? Like, are there 3 guests who were, like, is the wine kind of fresh, or these glasses look old and dusty?
Old and dusty.
Old and dusty. So it seems like to us this guy's alone and hasn't had company in a while.
Yes.
I think Mag is going to try and subtly, like, not quite sheath her weapon, but try to lower it a little bit so that maybe the first thing this person sees is not a giant sword. Kind of like concealing it a little or holding it lower.
And Trill whispers to Mags. From the looks of it, she's on the other. Mags between her and Vadim.
Is he alive or is he a ghost? I can't even tell.
And as this figure hears Trill whisper to Mag, this person whips around in surprise and anger and rises up off of the chair. He turns around and barks at you. Who are you? Why have you come here? And this time it's perfectly clear. There's something very odd about his voice that you're hearing over this low frequency but very loud rumble. There's a roiling sort of sound, like the voice is being squeezed through something volatile and shifting. And as he finishes turning around, you see something shocking. The man in front of you looks at first as though he is a drow man of typical height and build. But you see there's a slight rippling in his flesh as you size him up for a moment. But it's not really just a ripple as you look longer. It's like a wriggling look that makes up the entirety of this person's body. And then, a moment later,
what the world
you see
knows?
The drow person standing in front of you is not a person at all.
Oh, no.
They are a writhing mass of leeches swarming over and around each other in constant motion, making up the shape of a person.
What the worm knows.
What the worm knows.
And as you're suddenly struck by this reality, it wouldn't be surprising if you flinched back for a moment as you realize that this seemingly fashionable man is actually a hideous monstrosity. And he looks at you and says, "Why are you here?"
Trill's mouth is just gaping open as she comes to this realization, and like something out of a cartoon is just kind of making can't get words to form out of her mouth in this moment.
And Norman sort of looks down to appear to be respectful, but so he doesn't vomit all over the floor. We've come to tell you there's been a murder.
Okay, So as you say that, you see this swarm of leeches in this beautiful clothing sort of slowly extend its face out towards you and look at you hard, trying to read your intentions.
I hate it.
As it senses your
Yeah,
motive.
I am Pumpkout on this.
He looks at you and he says, "Murder or not, I'm glad you're here because taking care of intruders like you should finally prove to my dearly beloved that I'm worth speaking to directly."
Lars, I really the hand gestures and the sound. This is so horrifying. I can
Pretty
picture
metal.
It's so good.
I can picture the horror movie this is coming out of.
My lord, we wish to help you with your beloved. Remind me of what they like best.
He's read your motive. He knows that Norman is trying to ingratiate himself to him. So I think he just sort of waves an arm and sends a splatter of leeches off onto the floor as he waves you aside dismissively.
Trill jumps back.
And Trill jumps back and he says, "I see you looking at me. I can tell that you find me hideous. If you think I'm hideous from here, let me get a little closer." And he steps forward into the light.
And something like rage flashes in Mag's eyes. She thinks she knows who this is. And she says, "We're here to find the man who killed our friend."
And who's that?
Someone who might know a thing or two about encapsulating a soul inside a gemstone. And the rage rises in her eyes further.
Oh, you found Borbo, did you?
And Mag pulls from her pouch the picture of Volok Azenray and holds it up into the light for herself and for the man in front of her to see.
And you hear the sound of 10,000 leeches screaming out at once as you just hear, "Ah!" And we'll pick up from there next time.
Oh my god, we had his picture!
Dope. The Roots of Ruin is a Tabletop Gold production produced under the Paizo Incorporated Community Use Policy. The Roots of Ruin uses trademarks and/or copyrights owned by Paizo Inc., used under Paizo's Community Use Policy. We are expressly prohibited from charging you to use or access this content. Paizo does not recognize, endorse, or sponsor this project in any way. Original characters and content are the property of Tabletop Gold. For more information about Paizo Inc. and Paizo products, visit paizo.com. We at Tabletop Gold would love to hear from you. Email us at letters@tabletopgold.com and find all our social links at tabletopgold.com.